Hello everyone. So this is Karthikeyan, biology faculty from SIMS Institute, Nanganallu. We will be discussing NEET 2019 biology solutions. Now the next one, respiratory quotient of tripalmitin or tripalmitin. Now what is this tripalmitin? Again, it's a direct question from NCERT. Almost this year every question was directly from NCERT. This is a fatty acid derivative, or I can say it is simply a fatty acid. Okay, and what is respiratory quotient? Respiratory quotient is nothing but volume of CO2 evolved to that of volume of oxygen consumed. Volume of CO2 evolved to that of volume of oxygen consumed. So, in aerobic respiration, the cells are going to utilize oxygen and it is going to give out carbon dioxide, right? So, this is respiratory quotient. Carbon dioxide evolved to that of oxygen consumed. And for carbohydrates, proteins, fats. So, CPF, Corona Pandemic for All. If you want, you can remember this acronym, Corona Pandemic for All. For carbohydrates, RQ is 1. For proteins, it is 0.9. And for fats, it is 0.7. So the answer for this is going to be 0.7 because just now we saw tripalmitin is a fatty acid. Okay, so Corona Pandemic for all. Okay, so just 1, 0.9 and 0.7. Okay, so this is about this question. So we have seen the formula and everything. Next one, which of the following is a commercial cholesterol lowering agent? I hope you all know it is a very important group of drugs once you get into medicine, that is statins. Statins are a group of drugs that are used as the first line drug of choice for cholesterol patients. So for as a biology student now what you need to know is the source of these enzymes or substances. Statins, it is going to be from a yeast that is called as Monascus purpureus, right? Monascus purpureus. And cyclosporin, if you take, it is from a fungi, Trichoderma polysporum. And what is the use of this cyclosporin? It is an immunosuppressive agent. Okay, it is going to be an immunosuppressive agent. Okay, so usually given for organ transplant patients. Okay, cyclosporins are given, and streptokinase, if you take, it is a clot buster. Okay, again a statement that in NCERT. So patients with myocardial infarction or some clots along the vessels of the heart or the brain, we use streptokinase. It is going to lyse the clot or break the clot. Okay, so streptokinase, the source is going to be Streptococcus bacteria. Lipases, it's a group of enzyme that is going to have a detergenic action. Okay, so mainly it is going to remove the oil stains that are present and all that. Okay, so these are some examples. Apart from that, you have some more things like pectinases that is used in fruit juice bottles and all that you have. So you can have a look at that. Microbes chapter, as far as it is concerned, the agents are very important. Okay, these uses are very important. Like what are the biofertilizer agents? What are the biochemical agents? We have those questions in the coming slides. Okay, so just focus on these parts. Okay, next one. Which of the following is the most important cause for animals and plants being driven extinct? It's again a direct statement. Under the chapter biodiversity, you will have causes for biodiversity losses, and the first heading is habitat loss and fragmentation. And the first statement under this heading is this point: most important cause for animals and plants being driven. It is habitat loss and fragmentation. Okay, it's a direct question, nothing much to explain here. The next one, which of the following is responsible for thermoregulation? I hope again you all know the answer. It is hypothalamus. So is this the only function of hypothalamus? No, very important function that operates for all of us during our lockdown is feeding. So we tend to take so much of food, we sit in front of Netflix or TV, or you people keep studying so much. Okay, so you tend to have some snacks regularly. So all this is by your hypothalamus. So hypothalamus, it regulates your feeding habits and also thermoregulation. So other options just to look in, corpus callosum, it is going to be a set of nerve fibers that is going to connect both the cerebral hemispheres, right? So this is a cerebral hemisphere, this is a cerebral hemisphere, and you have some fibers that is going to interconnect these cerebral hemispheres, and these are corpus callosum. And medulla oblongata, again you all know, it is going to be a part of hindbrain, that is brainstem, where all your cardiovascular centers, your GIT centers, your respiratory centers, almost Some of the important physiological control centers are present in the medulla oblongata. Cerebrum, motor areas, sensory areas, and other association areas. So with your intellectual behavior, your motor activity, sensory activities, almost everything, cerebrum takes care. Okay, so these are some discussions about other statements. Again, it is a direct statement taken from NCERT textbook. Next one, consider the following features. The first feature, organ system level of organization. So if you take organ system level of organization, we are going to have from askal helminthes, right? So from askal helminthes till your chordates, we have this organ system level of organization. Bilateral symmetry, it will be right from platyhelminthes till your chordates with exception of echinodermata. Okay, so except echinos, the echinodermata, everything is going to be bilaterally symmetrical because echinodermata is going to be radially symmetrical. True coelomates with segmentations of the body. Okay, so if you take Porifera, Cnidaria, Ctenophora, the platyhelminthes are all acoelomates. Askal helminthes is a pseudocoelomate. So your true coeloms, it starts with annelids only. Okay, so true coeloms is going to start with annelids. Okay, with segmentations of body. So if you take segmentation is present only in case of Annelida, Arthropoda, and then Chordata. So our answer is going to be this. Okay, so the only thing that separates or that completely ignores other option is this segmentation. Okay, so this is given in the table at the end of your chapter 4. Okay, so we have a table that is given. Okay, like I hope you all know comparing different features of different phyla. So there every point is given. Okay, so only these three are segmented and then true coelomates. So mollusks are true coelomates, but they are not segmented. Okay, so that is the point here. Next one. Which of the following gases is mainly responsible for greenhouse effect? It's a 6th standard question. Okay, so it is going to be carbon dioxide and methane, and these are the percentages. So the most important gas is going to be carbon dioxide, followed by methane, then CFCs, and then N2O. And you remember in the first question we saw CFC ozone layer, and this was again Montreal Protocol in the year 1987. Okay, then and there we'll just revise. We'll try to link different concepts. Okay, which of the following muscular disorders is inherited? The first option that we have is tetany. Tetany, it is due to decreased calcium levels, or I can say hypocalcemia, parathormone deficiency. Okay, hypocalcemia. And very important, this is linked with decreased level of estrogen. What is that? It is linked with decreased levels of, sorry, this is not linked. Fine, sorry, you can erase this. Okay, tetany is mainly because of your hypocalcemia, deficiency of parathormone. This estrogen deficiency is going to be more prominent in case of osteoporosis, not in case of tetany, I'm sorry. Okay, so hypocalcemia, where you are going to have these carpopedal spasm and all that, and Trocher's sign. Okay, remember T40, Trocher's sign is going to give you the confirmation of tetany. Muscular dystrophy, it is an autosomal dominant disorder. Okay, it is an autosomal dominant disorder where there is going to be decrease in muscle mass due to degradation of the muscular proteins and all that. So actually our answer for this question is muscular dystrophy. Myasthenia gravis is an autoimmune disorder where your acetylcholine receptors on the postsynaptic membrane are all degraded. Okay, so basically understand it is an autoimmune disorder. So there are going to be some antibodies against the acetylcholine receptors on the postsynaptic membrane. I hope you all know we have this presynaptic membrane, synapse, and then postsynaptic membrane, right? So whatever neurotransmitters are released from the presynaptic membrane, it goes and sits on the postsynaptic membrane receptors for that particular neurotransmitter, and that is how the impulse that is present in the presynaptic, it gets conducted to the postsynaptic. So antibodies are going to be against this acetylcholine receptors, and henceforth there is going to be problem with impulse conduction, and that is myasthenia gravis. Botulism is due to there is going to be a neuromuscular blockade. Okay, so this neuromuscular junction is going to be blocked because of consumption of some toxins like botulinum toxin. Okay, so we have a toxin which is a neuromuscular blocker. Okay, so in patient who has severe spasms, muscular spasm, we generally give neuromuscular blockers to reduce that spasm and relax the muscle. Okay, because impulse will not be conducted, right? So botulism is the condition where there is a neuromuscular blockade because of botulinum toxin. Okay, so this is about the 4 options.